Resurgam, I will rise again. A plaque over the door of St Andrew's Church is a permanent reminder of the destruction and resurrection of Plymouth's city centre. Plymouth suffered more war damage than any other provincial city, and this paved the way for a radical rethink about how a city centre should be planned. Led by the foremost town planner of the day, Professor Patrick Abercrombie, the opportunity was seized to build a new Plymouth, a shining example of the optimism of the modern age. A city centre that would be bright, clean and spacious, with brand new suburbs to house displaced Plymouthians. In Plymouth alone, these ideas were carried through in the 1940s and 50s, and as a result, the city has more 1950s listed buildings than any other outside London. A testament, I think, to the foresight and sense of aspiration which made this a modern city. So Plymouth is a great historic city, not only in British terms, but in European terms. And the experience of English heritage is that if a city like Plymouth wants to have a successful and prosperous future, it really needs to build on its past and not simply turn its back on it.
It strikes a very good balance between the big picture of the whole of post-war Britain and what's specifically happening here.
In English Heritage's new book, Plymouth, Vision of a Modern City, Professor Jeremy Gould from Plymouth University celebrates the post-war buildings of the city and its suburbs. By presenting the remarkable story of post-war Plymouth, we hope our book will help inform future plans for development and regeneration.
Actually, I think Plymouthians love their city. They are wonderfully pragmatic people and sometimes very direct. But actually what I've noticed over the years when I've been talking about the city is that I get tremendous support from Plymouthians about preserving their city. They're incredibly proud of the achievement of the 50s and early 60s. Because it's important of its time, just as important as, say, medieval York or Georgian Bath. That is, it's a synthesis between planning and architecture, absolutely of its time.
Today, when buildings from the 1950s are as unfashionable as Victorian buildings were after the war, regeneration programmes can pose a threat to the legacy of post-war reconstruction. The listing of post-war buildings is often high-profile and contested, not least in Plymouth. But buildings like the Civic Centre can be adapted to play a positive role in the city's future. It's all too easy to tear down the buildings erected by a previous generation as unfashionable and not fit for purpose. But here in Plymouth, it's important to recognise the inherent qualities of its post-war architecture, the adaptability of these buildings and their power to create a really positive living environment for the 21st century. That is the message of our book, Plymouth, Vision of a Modern City.